This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.
His glasses, a coming together of storytelling and abhinaya seen through haikai lens. We hope this presentation awakens your mind once again to Bapu, his personality and what he stood for in the freedom we breathe today. We all have an urge to create, be it in storytelling, abhinaya, or haikai poetry. When we as artists are able to introduce dynamism into an image in concise language, the moment becomes alive. In Indian thought, this is called prana pratishta. This transformation of giving life and dynamism to a moment, I hope, fascinates you as it did to all three of us when we spent time with Bapu. In this short recital, we'll be presenting haikai poetry, weaving in and out of storytelling and abhinaya. We have with us Usha Venkatraman coming in as a storyteller and Vrishali Chittale Lele coming in as a dancer, and yours truly with haikai poetry, as we bring together a kaleidoscope of colors and emotions for your viewing pleasure. Autumn leaves tapping at the window. Autumn leaves tapping at the window waken my heart to a dance that sets my feet to rhythm. Autumn leaves tapping at the window waken my heart to a dance that sets my feet to rhythm.
वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् सुजलां सुफलां मलयज शीतलां शस्यश्यामलां मातरं वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे मातरम्. Those were the war years, the 1940s, when something extraordinary happened in Delhi. One cold, frosty winter evening. No man's life can be encompassed in one telling. A private man without wealth, without property, without official title or office. This is the story of a little Indian man in loincloth who led his country to freedom. I invite you, my friends, to view this story, listen to it, that is about to unfold through the lens of a mother. The crisp evening air was no deterrent to the milling crowd of people gathered on the soft, green, wet lawns of Birla House. Bapu, as he was fondly called, was late for his prayer meeting, frail from fasting, supported on either side by his grandnieces Abha and Manu. Bapu quickly climbed up the steps to the prayer ground. Everyone from all over the place had come to catch a glimpse of the Mahatma. The time was approximately 10 minutes past 5 in the early evening of Friday, 30th of January, 1948. The light has gone out of our lives.
Hey Ram, hey Ram, the story of Bapu's death in mother's eyes. The story of Bapu's death in mother's eyes. A clear bullet sound echoes. A clear bullet sound echoes in people's minds that Bapu is no more. Takes time to sink in. A clear bullet sound echoes in people's minds that Bapu is no more. Takes time to sink in. Newspapers flash. Nathuram Godse at every turn. Newspapers flash. Nathuram Godse at every turn. Murphy Radio. Murphy Radio, the faltering voices of announcers. Murphy Radio, the faltering voices of announcers.
This is the story of a little boy with a very big heart. His name was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, and he lived a simple life in the small coastal town of Porbandar along the Gujarat coastline. Mohandas learned from his mother to be honest and always speak the truth. Young Mohandas dreamt of a world where no living thing was ever hurt and everyone wanted the best for all. When Mohandas was 19 years old, he traveled to London to study law. After completing his law degree, the young Mohandas decided to settle down in South Africa to practice law. Things were not easy for Indians in South Africa, my friends. the lens of a mother's eyes. For more than 20 years, Mohandas lived in Africa to improve the rights of Indians in South Africa. He wanted to go back to his homeland, India, to lead his country out of the bonds of the British Empire. Once back home, Mohandas shed his Western garb and donned on traditional Indian clothes. It was his way to show support to his people. Dandi, a little village by the sea. दे दी हमें आजादी बिना खड़ग बिना ढाल साबरमती के संत तूने कर दिया कमाल आंधी में भी कजलती रही गांधी तेरी मशाल साबरमती के संत तूने कर दिया कमाल रघुपति राघव राजा राम रघुपति राघव राजा राम.
A sea of humanity marches to Dandi. A sea of humanity marches to Dandi, the salt, the story of salt. A sea of humanity marches to Dandi, the story of salt. From nook and corner, followers run to keep pace with Bapu. From nook and corner, followers run to keep pace with Bapu. Satyagraha. Bapu's refusal. Satyagraha. Bapu's refusal to budge from truth. Satyagraha. Bapu's refusal to budge from truth. Traders becoming rulers, becoming lords. Traders becoming rulers, becoming lords. The slogan, "Quit India," begins to color our imagination. Traders becoming rulers, becoming lords. The slogan, "Quit India," begins to color our imagination.
Through the lens of a mother. Do you know, my friends, when Britain made salt expensive to buy, Bapu marched 241 miles to the Indian coast, Arabian Sea, in protest. With a chosen band of followers, Bapu marched to Dandi, a little village by the sea. Bapu harvested the salt himself to give it to his people. Thousands of villagers joined his satyagraha, the passive protest against the Salt Act. Mark the date, my friends, 6th of April 1930. Bapu broke the salt laws, and it is remembered today as Satyagraha Day. Bapu's peaceful movement spread across India. His supporters protested against unfair English laws by refusing to work and cooperate with the government. This small, tiny gesture shook the world in the gentlest of ways. This set the tsunami in motion that took over the nation in August 1942. Quit India movement. Leave India movement was a movement launched by Bapu to put an end to the British rule in India. आओ बच्चों तुम्हें दिखाई झांकी हिंदुस्तान की, इस मिट्टी से तिलक करो ये धरती है बलिदान की। वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम।
Himsa. Ahimsa. Himsa. Ahimsa. The difference. And the awareness begin to grow. Himsa, ahimsa, the difference and the awareness begin to grow. Once again, Bapu on fast, reviving the next bus amongst his followers. Once again, Bapu on fast, reviving the next bus amongst his followers. Ashram duties. Ashram duties. Bapu insists. Ashram duties. Bapu insists on cleaning his own toilet. Ashram duties. Bapu insists on cleaning his own toilet. Sabarmati. Sabarmati. Bapu sits cross-legged. Sabarmati. Bapu sits cross-legged to discuss strategies. Sabarmati. Bapu sits cross-legged to discuss strategies.
The story continues through the mother's lens. Did you know, friends, ahimsa, satyagraha, and non-cooperation were Bapu's arsenal of non-violent weapons? Yes, non-violent weapons. Bapu was put in jail many times. As a way to claim freedom, Bapu stopped eating. For Bapu, success had to be moral and spiritual, not merely political. Bapu always said and reiterated, the end could never justify the means. Bapu, through these non-violent protests, believed to provoke response. And believe you me, provoke he did. This is the strength of civil resistance. The law was controlled by the people. Did you know, on another instance, Bapu believed in taking on the toilet monsters and the ghouls himself. He was totally against manual scavenging driven by caste system. Collective sanitation or Swachha Bharat became his mantra. The people called him Mahatma, meaning a great soul.
In the hands of common weavers, in the hands of common weavers, cotton loom becomes the earthy homespun khadi. In the hands of common weavers, cotton loom becomes the earthy homespun khadi. In the hands of a master craftsman, in the hands of a master craftsman, pumpkin shell and strings become a resonant sitar. In the hands of a master craftsman, pumpkin shell and strings become a resonant sitar.
Chappa chappa charka chale, Hey, chappa chappa charka chale. Chappa chappa charka chale. Hey, chappa chappa charka chale. Oni poni ariya teri. Boni boni beriya tale. Hey, chappa chappa charka chale. Hey, chappa chappa charka chale. Chappa chappa charka chale. Through the mother's lens. Bapu believed charkha was a divine weapon for change. It was necessary to master the spinning wheel. Bapu initiated the Swadeshi movement by taking up the charkha and encouraging Indians to spin their own cloth. Bapu wanted to promote the use of khadi or homespun cotton. The khadi movement was aimed at boycotting foreign cloth, thus making khadi an icon of the Swadeshi movement. To Bapu, spinning was a prayer, my friends. Khadi came to represent simplicity and a spirit of nationalism, and charkha became a symbol of self-sufficiency and freedom. Bapu described the spinning wheel as a cure, panacea for all our problems. One way to help India get rid of her abject, grinding poverty was to establish Swaraj or Home Rule. Thus began the Swadeshi movement.
India, India represented at the Round Table Conference. India represented at the Round Table Conference Bapu in loincloth. India represented at the Round Table Conference Bapu in loincloth. Back home, crowds throng to see the half-naked fakir. Back home, crowds throng to see the half-naked fakir. Bapu spins. Bapu spins the freedom yarn. Bapu spins the freedom yarn, a chakra on the national flag flaunts our victory. Bapu spins the freedom yarn, a chakra on the national flag flaunts our victory.
The story continues through the lens of a mother. Did you know, friends, every free nation has its own flag. It is a symbol of a free country. Indian Tiranga, the Indian tricolor, is made from khadi and it represents freedom. We all know it has three equal horizontal bands. The top band is saffron in color, representing strength and courage. The middle part is white, which represents honesty, purity, and peace of the nation. The bottom band is green in color, indicating prosperity, fertility, and growth. The Ashoka Chakra, with its, which is navy blue on a white background, is the symbol of the movement of time. It signifies that there is life in movement and death in stagnation.
Vaishnava Janato, Vaishnava Janato, I recall the voice of M.S. Subbalakshmi. Vaishnava Janato, I recall the voice of M.S. Subbalakshmi. The arterial road in every city bears his name. The arterial road in every city bears his name, Mahatma. A child writes, just Gandhi on the cover. A child writes, just Gandhi on the cover. The postmasters smile. A child writes, just Gandhi on the cover. The postmasters smile.
वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे पर दुखे उपकार करे तो ये मन अभिमान न आने रे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे सकल लोकमा सहुने वंदे निंदा न करे के निहीरे वाजगा मन निश्चल राखे धन धन जननी ते समदृष्टि ने तृष्णा त्यागी समदृष्टि ने तृष्णा त्यागी परती जेने मातरे जीवात की असत्य न बोले पर धन नव झाले हाथ रे मोह माया व्यापे नहीं जैन दृढ़ वैराग्य जना मन मारे मोह माया व्यापे नहीं जैन दृढ़ वैराग्य जना मन मारे राम नाम सुतानी लागी सकल तीरथ ते न तन मरे वर्ण लोभी ने कपट रहित के काम को धनिवाया रे भने नरसयो तेनु दर्शन करता कुले को तेरे साया रे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने
சிந்து நதியின் இசை நிலவினிலே சேரன நாட்டிலம் பெண்களுடனே சுந்தர தெலுங்கினில் பாட்டிசைத்து தோணிகளோட்டி விளையாடி வருவோம் கங்கை நதி புறத்து கோதுமை பண்டம் காவிரி வெற்றிலைக்கு மாறு கொள்வோம் சிங்க மராட்டியர்த்தம் கவிதை கொண்டு சேரத்து தந்தங்கள் பரிசளிப்போம் സിന്ധു നദീന്നിസൈ നിലവിനിലേ சேரன நாட்டிளம் பெண்களுடனே சுந்தர தெலுங்கினில் பாட்டிசைத்து தோணிகளோட்டி விளையாடி வரும். The story continues through the mother's lens. Never forget, my friends, what this great son of India has done for all of us. The little boy with a very big heart gave a single lesson or mantra to all those who hope for a bright future. Sometimes the power of peace is greater than the power of force. Remember, many wars have been fought through the ages, but none fought with weapons so gentle, spirits so strong, and forces so moral. As the story comes to an end, I reflect upon the 72 years of passing on since the cold, frosty evening in January. All I remember is a little boy with a very big heart. He dreamt of a world where no living thing was ever hurt and everyone wanted the best for all. If only I could see.
I gather one moon after another. I gather one moon after another into my hands. I gather one moon after another into my hands. The river keeps giving. I gather one moon after another into my hands. The river keeps giving. If only glasses like his, if only I could see. Glasses like his, if only I could see what he saw. Glasses like his, if only I could see what he saw.
Wow, amazing. What a performance. That was so serene and beautiful. I would really like to ask you all a few questions to understand how did this beautiful coming together happen. Kala Ramesh, I would like to ask you the first question. Kala, can you tell us how you hit upon this brilliant idea of weaving in the story of Bapu with haiku?
Thank you, Hema, and thank you, Usha and Rishali. I wish I could hide behind Macbeth's words and say it was only vaulting ambition which overleaps itself and falls on the other that made me attempt or even go anywhere near Gandhi. But I can't do that. It was not just ambition, but the motivation behind it. I grew up hearing my mother talking passionately about Gandhi, and every verse I wrote here was a recollection of the stories she told us. Second, I wanted people to know about the beauty of haiku. In Japanese aesthetics, we employ a technique called ma. The space, the intervals, the silences between images, you can even say between words, the uncluttered feel, the uncluttered mind. You get the drift? Ma. And that is what I try to use here. The first four verses, Mother's Eyes, Gunshot, Natharam Godse, and Murphy Radio, covers the whole turmoil that happened on January 30th when Bapu was shot and the subsequent weeks when the country was going through turmoil. It was all through my mother's eyes. How many times she has told us the story. Now coming to think of it, the whole emphasis on the Swadeshi movement was to regain that pride in our work, in our thinking, and in our very being. Isn't that one of the most important lessons we can learn from studying the story of Bapu? Remember that life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. And Bapu's story has many such moments that we can hold on to and learn from. I like to end this answer with going back to my two poems. I gather one moon after another into my hands. The river keeps giving. And that is what Bapu has been doing. He's been giving us after so many years. We still gather and we learn. Glasses like his. If only I could see what he saw. Thank you so much.
That is so true, Kala. I think today's times, I think we really need to go and see through his glasses again and again and again and again. Thank you for this beautiful answer. I'd now like to ask Usha. Usha, tell us about how you curated this event, his glasses. How did you collaborate with the artist and broadcast it live on Bharat FM radio?
Thank you, Hema. Thank you so much for being behind the scenes. And to all the viewers, Hema Subramanian is the technical support who has beautifully created our posters and put everything together. Really, the back end job. Thank you, Hema. Well, to come back to your question, Hema, I love curating. Now, Bapu, his glasses was the second event. If you remember, the first one was Gajamukha, of which you were a part too. Hema here is also a poet here. So when Kala approached me whether we could do this together, I jumped at it because it was a challenge. I have never worked with poets before. Dancers, yes. But a poet, no. And haikai, as Kala says, was a challenge. But when we sat down and discussed over a number of sessions and understood the depth, the meaning behind her poems, it was a wonderful challenge to take up. I loved it. And I thought, how could I weave a story? Just keeping the haikai as is and not going deep into the story, but just, explaining the lines to the viewers. I hope I've done a good job. If not, do excuse me, but I loved it. And the dancer, Vrishali, who's unfortunately not here with us, but who's done a commendable job with her choreography and the dance movement. It was a wonderful exploration of three art mediums coming together. And Bharat FM, I run a storytellers cafe there, and I thought how best an opportunity this is. How to bring his glasses to the global Indian diaspora. To get this on a global platform during this pandemic time. And I think it was a right decision. I thank Bharat FM Bharat FM Media, for giving us this opportunity to stream it live or even premiere the show because of all the technical glitches that we face. So I hope that answers your question, Hema. Thank you.
Yes, it does. And Usha, may you have the strength to create many more events like this. I know Gajamuka was fun, and this has been fun watching you all do this. And I have learned so much. I have learned haikus from Kala ma'am, and I'm going to really follow her through for this. And it's been an amazing journey. Yes. And now I'd like to ask Vrishali's question to Kala, so that she can give us an insight into what was Vrishali's thoughts. I think Vrishali has spoken to her about this. So I'd like to ask you, how did Vrishali approach this collaboration? We know you have worked with, she has worked with several artists from other fields, and especially on several presentations with you, Kala, on haiku poetry. Was this any different from the others?
About the last part, was it any different? I think the answer should come from Vrishali.
Okay.
But before I start, let me tell you that she's a brilliant dancer, and in a matter of 2 days, she just put everything together and she's performed brilliantly. And thanks a lot, Vrishali. When I first met Vrishali, it was for a haiku walk. She joined us along with a poet, with a painter, with other artists. And then when others performed and the poets and the people acted and read their poem, I asked Vishali, would you like to dance? She said, yes. Shall I dance about the banyan? And in Pune University, the banyan trees are gorgeous. And she just did the banyan tree, and I was dumbfounded. I said, how can in a matter of half an hour, and she could do a perfect thing without music. And then I asked her, can you perform for us on 24th of September, just 20 days? Will you perform for us a 45-minute program? She did, and she did brilliantly well with 2 of her friends. And since then, that was in 2016. And since then, it's now 2020, the last 5 years, we've done nearly, I think, 7 or 8 presentations together. And each and every time, Vrishali just steps in, she says, yes, I will do it. This is what I can do. And even this time when I just called her, she said, I think I can do it. And in a matter of 10, 15 minutes, she sent me the track. And then she said, this is what I'll do, this is what I'll do. And it just came into place. And I think she's got it in her. And wish her a lot more success and a lot more performances and a lot more collaborations and a lot more working with haiku. And thank you so much.
It has been really beautiful to watch her. It's a treat to your eyes. The visual presentation was amazing with the way she brought to life your poetry, and she just got to, gave a vision to it, gave a visual pleasing atmosphere to it. So it was really amazing, and I think thanks to you all for bringing in this beautiful, beautiful program. Thank you very much.
And thanks, Usha. Thank you so much, Usha, for jumping onto the idea and executing it. Thank you so much. And Usha, thanks a lot. And Hema, thank you so much. It was gorgeous being with you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kala. Let me just wrap up. I thank Bharat FM for streaming this live and putting it out to all the Indians all across the world. It's been a pleasure to work with Kala Ramesh, a celebrated haikai poet. Wonderful. She's releasing her book in January 2021, a book of poems. Please stay tuned. And Hema Venkatraman, the force behind Hema Subramanian, the force behind doing everything from the back end. Thank you so much. And Vrishali,
pleasure.
we miss your presence and
Yes.
speedy recovery to you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.